Hello and welcome back. Yes, welcome back. My name is Bookwormy. And this is my friend, Valerie Monroe. She wrote a book called Down the Swale. That's right. Yesterday, we were getting to a really good part. Brogdon's plan has been in motion. Remember, they're trying to save Maggie, the lock creature, actually, the lock baby, from Macky and Simp, these hunters. And Macky and Simp were riding around like Wahakmo, trying to find where Maggie might be hidden. And if you remember, Fred and Nancy were trying to keep them from going to the island. And poor Fred got hurt because they hit him with a harpoon. He's all bloody. I really hope he's okay. And then they came upon Elaine sailing her sailboat terribly. She's terrible at doing that. And crashed into her. And then they came upon John while their boat was taking on water and they were going to sink. And John said he would help pull them to shore, but he wanted them to throw the potato chips to the seagulls, and they got all covered in bird droppings. And finally, Simp had said, never mind, we've got no time to lose. I know that monster's in this house, he proclaimed, pointing ahead. Let's go. Uh-oh. I sure hope they don't find Maggie. Well, you know what the only way to find out about that is. Read on, my friend. I will. Dazed, Macky watched as Simp grabbed the harpoons and the rifle and began pushing through the shallow water toward the beach. Come on, Simp commanded, this way. Macky trailed reluctantly a few feet behind. They trudged up the beach, stumbled over the sand, and followed the tiled pathway. And then they stopped in front of the house. Now what? Macky asked. Are we going to break in? No, we're going to ring the doorbell and ask them to politely lead us to the $1 million lock baby. Simp shook his head in disgust. Of course we're going to break in, you dimwit. Ow, Macky cried suddenly, slapping the back of his neck with his hand. How? Simp asked, exasperated. Geez, do I have to explain everything to you? You're going to bang the door down. And then he gave out a forceful ow and began slapping at his arms. And soon they were both slapping and swatting at every part of their bodies. A cloud of midgies had surrounded them. They're biting me like crazy. They're tiny little flying insects. Simp yelled. Me too, Macky screamed. It's bloody biting midgies. Ouch! From the porch of the treehouse, high above them, Aunt Hazel shook the last of the midgies out of the jar and cheered silently as they rained down on the two men. It was a delight watching as they ran around crazily in circles, trying to escape the attack. I guess that was Aunt Hazel's big part in this plan. Remember when she'd been putting the midgies in the jar? When the last of the midgies had flown away, Macky and Simp dragged themselves to the porch. Head to toe, every bit of their exposed skin was swelling into red, itchy bumps. They are not having a good day. With one well-placed kick, Macky broke down the front door. A moment later, the two men were standing in John and Elaine's living room. Let's split up, Macky said. Look for any clues to where they're hiding that little lock baby. I'll bet you anything this little monster's swimming in a tank somewhere in this house. He kept the harpoon, handed the rifle off to Macky, and ran upstairs, up the staircase to the second floor. Macky strolled into the kitchen, but he didn't find any tanks. He did, however, find a warm crock pot filled with chili, and he stuck his finger in to sample it. Not bad, he said, licking his lips. Next, he conducted a thorough search of the living room and dining room. No tank there either. Then Simp hollered down from the floor above him. Hey, I think I got something. Macky bounded up the stairs and then paused, when he couldn't figure out where Simp had gone. "In here," Simp called. He was in the room with all the maps and stacks of containers. Simp had opened one of the containers and was holding a pellet in the palm of his hand. It broke apart easily and he sniffed it. "Lock baby food," he said. "I'm sure of it." Just then, a rumble shook the house, and Macky and Simp froze. What was that?" Macky whispered. "It's our $1,000,000 monster, of course," Simp said sarcastically. "She must be calling for her mama." They heard the rumbling again, this time much louder, and the floor vibrated beneath them. Simp raced down to the first floor, then rifled through every room in search of a door that would lead them to the basement. It took him only a matter of seconds to find it in the kitchen. He tiptoed down the stairs, confident that he was on the right path because the rumbling grew more intense with each step he took. "Oh, surely I must be close now," he thought gleefully. Macky followed at his heels. Being a heftier man, however, he found it hard to tiptoe. He worried that his clodding, clunking footsteps would surely alert anyone that they were on their way into the basement. "Shh!" Simp turned around and frowned at him. When Simp reached the bottom of the staircase, he came to an abrupt halt. It was dark in the basement, and Macky bumped right into the back of Simp. "Geez," Simp whirled around, more than a little annoyed. "For cripe's sake, watch it, will you?" "Sorry," Macky apologized, and then he said, "Hey, I don't see nothing down here. No tanks at all." Rumble. 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 Macky's face turned white. "There's nothing down here, see?" he said nervously. "I think we should just get out of here." He turned to head back up the staircase, but Simp stopped him by grabbing onto his shirt collar. "Hold on just a second," Simp said. He reached inside his pocket and produced a thin, pen-sized flashlight. "I got this, so calm down." He shined the light all around the room, across the floor, across the ceiling, and into all the corners. And then the beam settled on the bureau. "Help me move that," he ordered Macky. They moaned and groaned as they shoved it a few feet across the floor. "Well, looky here," Simp snickered. "Appears we found ourselves the gatekeeper. Or should I say, the tank guard." There, with her back to the secret door and caught in the blinding light, with eyes wide as saucers, sat Aunt Gladys. That's where we'll stop for today. Aunt Gladys has been sitting in front of that secret door that leads to the room with Maggie's tank. I can't believe it. This is getting very exciting. That's right, and we are close to the end of the book. I think we only have 2 chapters to go. Wow! Wait! Well, don't forget to come back tomorrow and hear more of it. Let's see what happens with Aunt Gladys and Macky and Simp. Will Maggie be saved? The only way you'll know is to show up tomorrow and read on with us. See you then.